Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Jayden Bryce Show, the show where we talk about the latest, hottest topics in the world of pop culture and sports. I want to take this time to thank you guys for joining me today. I got an action-packed show ready for you guys. We're going to be talking about Travis Hunter seemingly be getting ready to play both sides of the ball. We're going to be talking about Chris Hemsworth pretty much confirming that there is going to be more Thor on the way, as well as Extraction 3. Then we're going to talk about a topic that I told you guys last week, well, not last week, actually, a couple of days ago on the last show, to where I am going to be pretty interested to see, will Spider-Man 4 end up making more money than Avengers Doomsday? I got a good conversation about that as well. And then we're going to end the show off on the big hitter for today's show, where we are going to talk about Shedeur Sanders getting ready to make his NFL debut tomorrow night. But before we get into all that, do not hesitate to hit the like button on the podcast, subscribe to the channel, drop a like button on the podcast, as well as follow my podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I thank you guys for joining me yet again, and I cannot wait to get with you guys. Be on the lookout for another show tomorrow as well. There's a lot of news that came out today regarding things with Superman and James Gunn pretty much confirming things about that, the Batman 2 and things of that nature. And of course, there's some more sports stuff I want to get to as well. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the show. Travis Hunter, the number 2 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. There's been a lot of controversy about him predictingly wanting to play both sides of the football. A lot of people were speculating, is he going to be able to do it? Will he do it? Coming out of college at the University of Colorado, we know that he did play both sides of the football. But a lot of people were questioning if he's going to do that in the NFL. Well, as of yesterday and today as well, head coach Liam Cohen came out and confirmed that Travis Hunter is going to be playing both sides of the ball in the upcoming preseason game, as well as going into next season. He is listed right now on the depth chart, primarily as a wide receiver. And then his secondary position is going to be defensive back. Let's put this into perspective. Me personally, do I think it is wise for Travis Hunter to play both sides of the football in the NFL? Would it be a great thing for him to do? Given that nobody in NFL history has been able to do it consistently throughout a whole game. We've seen Jayden Sanders be able to do it, but he didn't do it every single snap of a game, like Travis Hunter did in Colorado, and that he said that he was going to do and translate that to the NFL. And Jayden Sanders pretty much backed Travis Hunter in that thinking and pretty much confirmed that he would be able to do that. Me personally, I do not think it is sustainable for Travis Hunter to play both sides of the football. It is no knock on Travis Hunter. I'm not downplaying Travis Hunter's ability to play football. I do not mean that by any means at all. What I'm saying, though, is this. There is a difference between the NFL and college in two unique perspectives. The first perspective, and a lot of people will bring up this: you're playing against grown men. You are not going to be playing against 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. Maybe in some cases in today's college landscape, you may get a 22, 23-year-older here and there. But the college game is continuing to get young, and when Travis Hunter was in college at the time, you probably had a couple 24, 23, 22-year-olders. But now when you're going to the NFL, you're lining up against either, if you're a DB or wide receiver, a 30-year-old NFL vet, a 30-year-old all-pro wide receiver, a 30-year-old all-pro cornerback, 32, 33 years old, maybe 28 years old, in their prime, fresh, like somebody like Pat. Imagine Travis Hunter lining up a wide receiver against somebody like Pat Surtain, who is young, been an all-pro already, Pro Bowler, has a Hall of Fame career trajectory. and put that on the opposite side of the ball. When he's lining up a DB, he's going up against Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. And you're going up against this type of high quality talent every single rep. Every single rep on the defensive side of the ball and every single rep on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't think in that perspective that it is going to be sustainable for Travis Hunter to want to play both sides of the ball every single snap. Another perspective you can say is this as well. The NFL game is a whole lot more complex than the college game. There's more to it in the NFL than college, where in college, majority of the time, you're able to line up if you're at DB, and they're not going to run complex routes. Offenses are not running really complex offenses to where it makes you pretty much think on the defensive side of the ball. Vice versa, as a wide receiver, you're not going to be running that many complex routes. There's not a whole lot of chemistry going on within the team. When you go to the NFL, it's a whole different perspective. These guys, these coaches on both sides of the football are masterminds of their craft, of their game. This is elite high-level IQ when it comes to football. They know the ins and the outs of it. They know your strengths and your weaknesses. They are going to know how to take you out of the ball game. They're going to scheme up things to demoralize Travis Hunter and get him frustrated, get his body just get fatigued throughout the game. It's going to be a lot for Travis Hunter to keep up with on both sides of the football. Imagine you're going up against a San Francisco 49ers-led offense led by Kyle Shanahan if Travis Hunter is playing defense. And on that same side, on the offensive side of the football, Travis Hunter is going to have to go up against somebody like Robert Saleh, who led the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl back in 2020 against Patrick Mahomes in Miami. That's the type of matchup that Travis Hunter may face this year. Now, I don't know if he plays the 49ers. I'm just giving you guys an example of what Travis Hunter has to face if he is ideally wanting to complete the goal of wanting to play both sides of the ball. Now, if Travis Hunter wanted to play both sides of the ball and he wasn't going to play every single snap, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Because here's something I want for Travis Hunter. I want his primary position to be defensive back. I think he is more gifted there. That is the position that he primarily played coming out of high school, and is the position where his ball skills, his eye-hand coordination, tracking the ball. He is a unique ball hawk, and that is his special skill. His skill level compared to the defensive back position, compared to wide receiver, it's not very lopsided, but I think his defensive back skills are way superior than his wide receiver skills, because I do not think that Travis Hunter has the best route running technique right now for an NFL style competitive level. Travis Hunter was able to get away with it in college because he was able to go one-on-one with a lot of guys and pretty much moss them. We know the plethora of catches we saw last season, specifically the one I think it was against Colorado State, where Travis Hunter was just pretty much able to just go up and get the ball. But it's the NFL. Bigger guys, more skilled guys on the defensive side of the football. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to get technically sound when it comes to your route running. And I don't think Travis Hunter's route running is technically sound at the wide receiver position. So I would love to see him at primarily defensive back. Now, if there's a situation on the offensive side of the ball and you want to put Travis Hunter in any type of way, form, or fashion to give yourself an extra chess piece to overtake your opponent that day, I wouldn't have no problem with Travis Hunter doing that. Vice versa. But the idea of Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball every single snap, I think it is a tall ask. Many players have been asked about this already. Devontae Adams, he was recently in the news, I think it was 2 days ago, pretty much downplaying the idea of Travis Hunter going to play both sides of the football. And we recently had a quote here by Trevor Lawrence. And there is a quote in these contexts, and it says it right here where, there's a little context to this quote, but essentially, Trevor Lawrence said, do you want to come catch touchdowns, or do you want to maybe break up a pass or two a game? But right here on the footnote right here on Twitter, it says Trevor Lawrence said selfishly, yeah, I like him more on offense, but Travis is talented. He can play wherever he wants and be decisive for the team. And then Liam Cohen was asked in the interview as of today. So would I want to pull for Travis Hunter to essentially be one of the first players in NFL history to be able to play both sides of the football at a very high level? I would pull for him in that front. Absolutely. I would love to see it. But doing that, you're increasing your risk for injury, the wear and tear on the body. Because Davante Adams pointed this out in his interview that he had, and I think it possibly was with Kay Adams. Shout out to Kay Adams. You are 100% guaranteed to get hurt stepping on an NFL field. That is straight out of the great Davante Adams, many All-Pros, Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer. That came out of his mouth. That you are 100% guaranteed to get hurt in this game. And with Travis Hunter essentially playing both sides of the football, he's doubling that risk of getting hurt on an NFL ball field. I don't want that for Travis Hunter. I want Travis Hunter to be healthy. Travis Hunter already has a very thin frame for a football player. He's not the biggest guy. So when you're going up out there on defense and offense against 230-pound linebackers, trying to catch a slant route up the middle and you get popped, there's a lot of things that can happen. So me personally, I'm pulling for Travis Hunter to possibly be able to pull this off. But from a logical standpoint, it would probably be in Travis Hunter's best interest to choose one side of the football and stick to that and become an All-Pro. But I love the competitive nature of Travis Hunter to basically shut the media up and shut everyone up around him thinking that he is not capable to do this and try and prove them wrong. I love the competitive nature in that. So we're going to be pulling for Travis Hunter. It's going to be a treat to be able to see going into week 1 of the NFL season. And it's going to be a treat going into his first preseason game. I think that is going to be Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to say it's the Jaguars' first preseason game. So we're going to be on the lookout for that, and we'll see how Travis Hunter fares out in that preseason game. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Travis Hunter should essentially play both sides of the ball? Do you think Travis Hunter should play one side of the ball? I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys. Moving on to our very next topic. Chris Hemsworth. He has been in the news recently. I guess he got interviewed for a recent movie that he is getting ready to be in. He sent or posted a very cryptic tweet or post across all his social media platforms right after he got revealed in the cast for Doomsday. It was a post pretty much showing gratitude for his role of playing Thor, and it had many fans speculating that there is a possibility that Avengers Doomsday would be the last time that we are going to see him portray the God of Thunder. But in this interview recently by The Hollywood Reporter, he pretty much debunked these claims. Let's see what Chris Hemsworth had to say. Speaking of Thor, Hemsworth released a YouTube video titled "Thank You, The Legacy of Thor," a couple months after his late March casting the 2-minute video. After his late March casting announcement in the Russo's Avengers Doomsday. Naturally, the 2-minute video caused an online frenzy, and fans quickly speculated that Hemsworth was preemptively saying goodbye ahead of his final round as Thor. Plot theories soon followed, and many wondered if Thor would have a fatal encounter with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, a la the one that his brother Loki had with Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. Hemsworth is now clarifying that the above reading was not all what he and his social media team intended. Chris Hemsworth said this, and I quote, "I had a few people ask me about it, and someone on my team said, we've given the wrong impression here. We didn't do any damage control. There was no damage control necessary, but a lot was read into a little. I was already off starting another chapter of this character, and this journey has been the biggest part of my career. So the video was a moment of gratitude, and it wasn't anything else. But it definitely got misconstrued and perceived in a different way." All right. So what does this pretty much mean? When the video was first released, I was with the fans. We all were pretty much just speculating that this is probably the last hurrah. Now, it didn't quite make sense, because why would you go ahead and kill off Thor in Avengers Doomsday when there's a Avengers Secret Wars in the future? Maybe, again, I'm not that knowledgeable of the Secret Wars storyline. I just know it's a lot of universes pretty much clashing together. It is the multiverse segment, and this is the multiverse saga of Marvel, and that is what they're leading up to. So I didn't know if they were just going to do that, and then ultimately Chris Hemsworth would be like a surprise type of thing going into Avengers Secret Wars. But Chris Hemsworth in this interview pretty much just downplayed all of the ideas of him getting killed off in the upcoming Avengers movie. Now, I'm shocked because with the rumors of Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Captain America potentially getting recast in the upcoming, after the events of Avengers Secret Wars, I wouldn't be shocked if they were to pretty much kill Thor off and then bring him back in Secret Wars, and then all three of them get their hurrah together, with Robert Downey Jr. coming back as possibly Iron Man in Secret Wars, Chris Evans coming back as Captain America in Secret Wars, and then Thor would come back in Secret Wars. And then, you have the Secret Wars storyline, and then you would recast Thor. Because I don't see a scenario where you're going to recast Chris Evans as Captain America, and you're going to recast Robert Downey Jr., and then Chris Hemsworth is going to be there to stay. Now, I am all for it. Now, I've enjoyed Chris Hemsworth as playing Thor. I think he's done a phenomenal job. So if they want to pretty much let Chris Hemsworth play Thor a little bit more, I'm all for it. Because it was pretty much funny to me that they were ready to hang the cape up when it come to Robert Downey Jr.'s character and Chris Evans's character. But Chris Hemsworth's Thor was still pretty much a major role in the MCU moving forward post Endgame. We've already had a Thor movie, and technically he's still alive. So even with the events of Secret Wars, I would still be open to Chris Hemsworth still wanting to play Thor post Secret Wars. Now, would it be the smartest thing to do? Absolutely, but absolutely not, because I think if you're going to do a clean slate, specifically, they're already saying that they're going to do a clean slate with the X-Men, Iron Man, and Captain America. I just don't see a reason why you would keep Chris Evans to play Thor. I don't know. I may be wrong. Y'all let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? That's just my personal opinion. And another thing too, I know it said it. They said it in this article. This may be damage control at the end of the day. It may or may not be damage control, because the whole point of marketing for this movie right now is to get fans ready for this movie, because the next topic that we are going to talk about is, will Spider-Man make more money than Avengers Doomsday? Going into Avengers Doomsday right now, what character is a huge draw to want to go see this movie? I don't think a lot of people are going to be clamoring to go to a theater to see Anthony Mackie's Captain America, Yelena and the Thunderbolts, Letitia Wright's Black Panther, Shang-Chi, and the list goes on and on and on. Smart Hulk, and the list again goes on and on and on. The only draw you have right now as a character is Thor. And one can argue possibly and maybe the old X-Men being part of this movie, with Patrick Stewart coming back to play Professor X. The guy playing Magneto is coming back. Mystique, Cyclops, all of the older type of X-Men are coming back in this movie. That's the reason why I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if we might get a teaser of some sort of Hugh Jackman coming back to play Wolverine, because the old X-Men are coming back. Why wouldn't, Hugh Jackman come back to play Wolverine in this movie? But Chris Hemsworth's Thor is the only draw for the movie. So, I don't know. Maybe this might be some social media stuff just to stir the pot. Maybe the Russo brothers and Marvel wanted them to do that. I do know that Chris Hemsworth has been on the record saying that this has been the biggest role of his career. It's been his most favorite role of his career. He's forever grateful for it. So there's whole lot of mixed signals going on right now at the moment. But I hope that he is not going to get killed off in Avengers Doomsday. I don't know. I don't know if we should keep Chris Hemsworth at his word with this. We're just going to have to wait and see going into Avengers Doomsday. Let's see what type of tone the movie may possibly have leading up to the very first trailer. We're just going to have to wait and see. But the second portion of this video, or this interview rather, is about his other character, and Tyler Rake from the Extraction. As for the other franchise, Extraction, Hemsworth and his creative partners are still in the midst of figuring out what the next movie is for Black Ops mercenary Tyler Rake. Tyler Rake is getting relentless. We, the creative team, are putting together some different ideas and creative ventures of where we could take the whole place of the third film. But the intention is to certainly make another one. And I don't know exactly when, but yeah, it'll be coming. So, this is great news for me. Because I am a huge fan of the Extraction franchise. I remember when I watched the first one, it was produced and made by the Russo brothers. Obviously, we knew the Russo brothers had done at the time the Winter Soldier, Civil War, both Avengers, Endgame and Infinity War, coming off great movies. So knowing that the Russo brothers were partnering up with Chris Hemsworth to do a mercenary type movie, it's right up my alley. Because I love the genre, huge John Wick guy, just love it. So I enjoyed Extraction. I've enjoyed both films. And essentially the second one, when, Tyler Rake gets captured and he gets put in jail, I think. And then Idris Elba's character, releases them at the end of the movie and comes up with a proposition saying, I got another job for you. And it pretty much opened up the idea for a third film to come out. I'm all for it. Hopefully they would probably integrate Idris Elba's character a little bit more. Chris Hemsworth and Idris Elba together, a little buddy cop type action film, mercenary movie. That would be great. It's just something that I really am kind of disheartened about, is that none of these movies have never had a theatrical release, because I really think they are worthy of being in the theaters. Now, a lot of this has to do with money and licensing. These movies are exclusively to Netflix, so you're not going to get theatrical releases for Netflix type films, because that's where primarily they're getting majority of their money at to produce this movie. But so it's a shame. I would love to see this in theaters. It is a high quality movie. It's a high quality franchise, and me personally, I think great franchises, high quality movies, and great cinema deserves to be in the theater. But that's just my personal opinion. But I'm glad to see that we're going to get Tyler Rake back. And I'm glad to see that possibly we're going to have more Chris Evans as Thor post Doomsday in the future. So overall, I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Chris Evans is going to be in Avengers Secret Wars post Doomsday, or do you think he's going to be fatally killed off in Avengers Doomsday and come back in Avengers Secret Wars? Do you think Chris Hemsworth is going to play Thor going past Avengers Secret Wars? And do you want to see Extraction 3? Are you excited for it? I want to know all of your comments down below, because at the end of the day, we love Chris Hemsworth, and more Chris Hemsworth is always the best. I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys. Another big topic for today's show, and I'm excited to get into it. Spider-Man. We went on a little discussion last show when we pretty much discussed Spider-Man Brand New Day. And we saw a tweet, well, not we, I saw a tweet that pretty much had me thinking. The account My Time to Shine Hello is currently at the movie shoot for Spider-Man Brand New Day. He is on set for the movie, showing pictures of the set, etc., things of that nature. And he came up with a tweet, and it said, "Do you think that Spider-Man 4 is going to make more in the box office than Avengers Doomsday?" And I had to sit there and say, and I had to be totally honest. Ladies and gentlemen, I would not be surprised if Spider-Man Brand New Day would make more money than Avengers Doomsday. Now, let's do a little numbers check here. Every single Avengers film that has been produced by Marvel has made over $1 billion. We have the numbers right here. Avengers Endgame went on to make $2.7 billion. Infinity War went on to make $2 billion. Avengers Age of Ultron made $1.3 billion. And the Avengers made $1.5 billion. And now we got to put this into perspective with the Spider-Man movie numbers. Tom Holland's first Spider-Man film, and I don't have the numbers, I put them up on my phone beforehand. Tom Holland's first movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, ended up making $800 million. His second movie, Far From Home, ended up making $1.3 billion, I want to say. And then his last film, Spider-Man No Way Home, brung in a whopping $1.9 billion. So we have seen, history has told us that Tom Holland's Spider-Man movie is capable of making over $1 billion. Now that we have the numbers out of the way, let's think of it in this lens. Now, we know the state of the movie industry. We know that it is in a horrible state. Not many people are going to go see the movies in theaters. Right now, the only $1 billion movie we even had this year has been Lilo and Stitch. And there's one other one I want to say, but I cannot quite remember what it is. Or if we even do have another $1 billion film this year. I don't know. I know Minecraft got close. It just didn't quite get to the $1 billion mark. But there is essentially not many movies that have made $1 billion. So given the fact that Marvel has struggled in the box office the past couple of years, they cannot even get a film to reach the $500 million mark since Spider-Man No Way Home. They have been struggling at the box office. And we talked about it with Chris Hemsworth a couple of minutes ago. Right now, going into Avengers Doomsday, what has us interested to go see the movie? Because when we look at past Avengers movies, they always led up. The events of the movies always led up to the next Avengers film. When it became Iron Man 1, then it went to Captain America and Thor. All of those movies set up the very first Avengers film. Same thing with Avengers Infinity War. And ultimately, Endgame. That hasn't been the case for this phase 4, 5, and 6 of Marvel. Because this has been the most bland slate of movies leading up to an Avengers film. No heavy hitters. Ever since Spider-Man No Way Home, back in 2021. What big movie have they made that has got us excited leading up to the Avengers? Nothing. Let's see the last couple of movies. Just had Fantastic Four. We've had Thunderbolts. We've had the Marvels. We've had the Marvels. Shang-Chi. Eternals. It's a pretty much forgettable slate of movies. It really is. Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. None of these movies has set a groundwork of wanting to lead up to the upcoming Avengers movie and Avengers Doomsday. Really, the only ones that's really done any type of promoting the next movie, you can really say, is the ending of Fantastic Four. And a lot of this has to do with the mishandling of the Jonathan Majors situation, from them want to kick away from Kang the Conqueror, and then we moved on to Doctor Doom. And then there's we have nothing of Doctor Doom leading up to the Avengers. When it pertained to Thanos, we got our very first teaser of Thanos at the end of the first Avengers movie. Because Loki was the big bad in the first Avengers, and we got our first look at him in the first Thor movie. So we knew why Loki ended up being the villain for the first Avengers movie. And then we got Thanos at the end of the first Avengers movie. So we knew Thanos was going to end up being the big bad at the end of these movies, because we know the Infinity Stones were in play. But when it comes to Doctor Doom, we have seen virtually nothing. So there's no hype leading up to these Avengers movies. Well, what about Spider-Man Brand New Day? It's easily to get excited for, because at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, we're getting a grounded Spider-Man story. It teased us at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, where Spider-Man was in the classic Spider-Man suit. MJ don't know who he is. Ned doesn't know who he is. He's got his own apartment now by himself. Raggedy old looking apartment like a Peter Parker story would. Comic classic story would. And then he's swinging off into the sunset, just teasing us for the future. And then we've had these couple of rumors going around these last couple of days with the set photos. We got a brand new look at the suit. We know that the Hulk is going to be in this movie. We know that John Bernthal's Punisher is going to be in the movie. We know the villains that are going to be in it. They're going to actually capitalize on Scorpion, a villain that we saw that was teased at the end of Homecoming. So there's a lot to get excited about when it pertains to the Spider-Man movie in comparison to the Avengers movie. So with that being said, if you were to ask me right now, what film would end up making more money, I would say in a heartbeat that Spider-Man 4 could possibly end up making $1 billion. And I can say this, and I say this positively. Not thinking twice about it. This is going to be our first Avengers movie that is not going to reach $1 billion. You can just go ahead and book it. I don't see in any way, form, or fashion that this Avengers movie is going to make $1 billion. We've seen how the box office has treated Fantastic Four. I didn't do the research, but I'm just wanting to know since Spider-Man No Way Home, What Marvel project has even came close to breaking the $500 million mark? I don't know. Maybe I might be thinking it might have been Wakanda Forever. Maybe. But I'm not quite 100% sure. Given that, with an Avengers movie that has got no hype around it whatsoever, it is the most bland and stale excitement level going into an Avengers movie, I would not be surprised if this movie is going to fall short of $1 billion. I really think it could get as low as $800 million. I don't see it making more than $800 million. I just don't. Maybe with Spider-Man, maybe, just maybe, the only way is if Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out and it is exciting and it possibly leads up with a post-credit scene leading up to Avengers Doomsday, and everybody that sees that sees that movie and gets excited for Avengers Doomsday and ends up showing for Avengers Doomsday, that's the only way. Because right now, Sony has confirmed that it is not moving its release date. Because originally, Spider-Man Brand New Day was supposed to come out after Avengers Doomsday. But now, they've moved Avengers Doomsday back. So now, Spider-Man is coming out before Avengers Doomsday. So I don't know if there is possibly going to be some type of teaser leading up to the next Avengers movie at Spider-Man Brand New Day. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. But ultimately, I think Spider-Man 4 might come out on top. I'm very going to be interested to see and compare like the first trailer reactions and the first trailer numbers with the first Spider-Man teaser trailer that comes out compared to the first Avengers Doomsday trailer that comes out. It's going to be interesting to see, because that could be a pretty much measuring a litmus test to what possibly we could see at the box office going into both of these films. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Do you think and do you see Spider-Man 4 making more money than Avengers Doomsday? Or do you still think Avengers Doomsday could possibly make more money than Spider-Man, just because it may benefit from Spider-Man actually being so good to where people might have more confidence in Marvel and go out and see Avengers Doomsday? I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys, moving on to our very last topic of today. And it is the big topic for today. Shedeur Sanders is going to be making his debut tomorrow night against the Carolina Panthers. We have an article here that I'm going to read off because there's a lot of big info that we have to get into before we discuss Shedeur Sanders. From The Athletic, the latest twist in the Cleveland Browns quarterback competition will lead to rookie Shedeur Sanders starting Friday night's preseason opener at Carolina. With injuries in the room leading to detours and even the addition of Tyler Huntley, Sanders will go from the clear fourth choice throughout the first 2 weeks of camp to first in the first preseason game. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski announced on Wednesday that Huntley will be the only other Cleveland quarterback available for the preseason matchup against the Panthers. Joe Flacco, the most experienced player of the group and the leader of the training camp competition, was never likely to play at Carolina. He and the Browns starters will be on the field Wednesday morning for a joint practice with the Panthers, but the team's best and most experienced players likely won't play in the first 2 preseason games. Veteran quarterback Kenny Pickett has been a limited participant for more than a week due to a hamstring injury, and Stefanski said rookie Dillon Gabriel will be dealing with hamstring tightness. Stefanski said Gabriel will be limited in Monday's practice, and Gabriel participated but sat out the final drill, ceding snaps to Sanders. Through 10 days of camp, Sanders is the only one of the 4 Browns quarterbacks to not take snaps with the number 1 offense. He piloted the number 2 offense in one drill last week against the Browns' number 1 defense, but the majority of his snaps in camp have been with and against the number 3 units. So, after we have dissected all of this information, Do I think that Shedeur Sanders was going to be the number one option going into this game to start this game? I do. I know there's a lot of people going on around ESPN saying that, oh, Shedeur Sanders is set up to fail just because he's not had any reps with the number one offense at training camp, and, nobody else is available. Kenny Pickett's not available because of a hamstring injury, as well as Dillon Gabriel is not available with a hamstring injury as well. So now they're just throwing Shedeur Sanders out there to the fire because they have no other option. Even with Dillon Gabriel being available, I think either him or Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders were definitely going to be the number one options to play this game. If it was either Shedeur Sanders was going to play the first couple of quarters, or Dillon Gabriel would play the last two quarters, vice versa. But either way you slice it, I think that Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders were going to start this game, going to play in this game either way. So now that Dillon Gabriel is not available, Shedeur Sanders is the last man standing, so to speak. But tonight, well, not tonight, but tomorrow night, for it being Shedeur Sanders' first game, with all the hype around it and all the controversy going on about why he should be right now the bona fide starting quarterback, because right now the Cleveland Browns came out with their depth chart and they have Shedeur Sanders listed as their number 4 quarterback. With all of that going on, all eyes will be on this game. You can book it. Out of all the games in the first week of the preseason, this is more than likely going to be the most viewed game of the whole preseason. This is going to be the most important game, I believe, in Shedeur Sanders' life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to say that Shedeur Sanders has to play extremely well in this game. I don't think it's going to happen. It's a whole lot to ask from a kid. It's his first NFL game. He's not had any type of reps with the number 1 offense. Now, given the start is rumored to not be playing in this game. This is what's being reported. So I don't know if this is going to, if Shedeur is going to be able to play with some guys that he's been able to play with at practice when it comes to the 2s and the 3s, because they said that Shedeur's been rolling with the 3s. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see tomorrow night. But I do not expect Shedeur Sanders to play the best. I think we're going to end up getting a mixed bag. I think we're going to see some high highs, and I think we're going to see some low lows, and I think it's going to end up evening itself out in the end to where you could get a mixed bag type of performance from Shedeur Sanders. I don't want Shedeur Sanders to go out here and think that he's got to play hero ball. He's got to go out there and play Superman. What is going to be important for Shedeur Sanders to do is show qualities and characteristics for the reason why you should have been a top 3 pick in this year's recent draft. The reason why you should have been drafted maybe ahead of Cam Ward, in this year's recent draft. Show why, even if you didn't get drafted ahead of Cam Ward, show why you should have been the very next selection. Because these guys were drafted ahead of you. You had Cam Ward, you had Jalen Milroe, you had Tyler Shuck, Dillon Gabriel. I know I'm missing some guys, but those are the guys off the top of my head who got drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders. So what characteristics and things am I talking about? This is what I'm talking about. Show leadership in the huddle, out there with the coach, on the field, interactions with your teammates. Show leadership. Show a veteran type of NFL veteran leadership, as well as out there commanding the offense on the football field. Show that you own that offense and you are the commander over it. What about Shedeur Sanders' play? Number 1, take care of the football. In the preseason, the one thing that can get you killed going into making a roster period is just, as a quarterback, is just turnovers. Just don't turn the ball over. Be precise with your reads. Run through your progressions. They always teach you. You got your primary. If it's not there, scan the field. If your primary ain't there, do not get, what's the word I want to look for here? Do not get scared. Do not get jittery if your number one read is not there. Stay calm, cool under pressure, and just play football. You've done that at Colorado, and I think you're able to do it in the preseason against 2s and 3s, essentially. Something else, good ball accuracy. Just throw good footballs. And I think those are the most important keys. I don't think we need to see any flashy plays, any flashy rollouts on the pocket, just anything Patrick Mahomes-esque, Josh Allen-esque. We don't need to see that. We know Shedeur is not the best athlete in the world when it comes to his running ability. He's mainly just your Tom Brady type of player. He is your pocket quarterback. He is a very accurate quarterback, and you need to double down on that in this preseason game. That's important. But another reason why this game could be important, because it may be a tryout for Shedeur Sanders, because there has been rumors that the Browns are essentially going to trade some quarterbacks. They're going to trade somebody. They have 6 quarterbacks on the depth chart. They have 6, but I think there's only 5 that I can think of. You have Tyler Huntley, Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. Those are your 5 quarterbacks you have in your depth chart. Wherever the 6th one is, I don't know who it is. So those are your guys on the roster. Somebody's got to go. Who is it going to be? I don't know. That rhymed. But somebody is going to have to go. Will that person be Dillon Gabriel? I don't know. So this is pretty much a tryout for Shedeur Sanders. Are you going to show why you should be have an argument for being the starter for this team week 1? Or are you going to show what the Browns essentially thought about you, that you're just a arrogant player? You think you are better than what you really are, and that you're just not that good, and you're going to lay out a thud out there on the football field. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Shedeur Sanders has to knock his performance out of the park. I really don't. I just think that Shedeur just cannot be horribly bad. Like, you cannot go out there and have an Anthony Richardson type of performance. You got to go out there. You got to at least complete 75% of your passes. You just cannot go out there and only complete 50 to 60% of your passes. It's not going to work in a preseason game. You need to have a Trey Lance type of performance that Trey Lance had last week in the Hall of Fame game. That's the type of performance that Shedeur Sanders has to have. Because you got to be able to show that the front office is wrong about you, because they've made all of these quarterback moves. They drafted Dillon Gabriel ahead of you. They just signed Tyler Huntley this week. They already had Joe Flacco. They already had Kenny Pickett. So Shedeur Sanders needs to show why this possibly wasn't just, oh, Shedeur Sanders was there. Why not? We have nothing to lose. You need to show them why you deserve to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Because I love Joe Flacco, but I don't think that Joe Flacco should be the starter. Kenny Pickett, God bless him. Kenny Two Gloves, he's not that good. Dillon Gabriel, I've heard he's looked awful in camp, even in college. I've never understood why people were so in love with the guy. So Shedeur Sanders, and even Tyler Huntley, the year and you can say he's a Pro Bowler, but I still, to the life of me to this day, do not understand how Tyler Huntley got into the Pro Bowl. I will never understand it, but that's just me. So Shedeur Sanders, out of all of them guys right now, is the one I would have on this field. And Shedeur Sanders needs to go out there and show me why I'm right. So Shedeur, go out there and ball, son. You can do it. You have the capability to do it. You have that chip on your shoulder. Go out there and show them why you should be the number one quarterback for the Browns, and show why you have your dad's DNA in you, because you have the DNA of prime time, showtime, Deion Sanders. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think. Do you think that Shedeur is going to have a good performance? Do you think he's going to have a bad performance? What do you think he needs to show in this? Essentially, what I think it is pretty much a tryout for the team. I want to know all of your comments down below. And ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. It's a pretty small show, pretty quick, but I told you guys I'm gonna get with you tomorrow. Got a lot of different things that I want to talk about as well. But more importantly, guys, again, thank you for joining me. I want to thank you guys for your continued support of the show. It has just been great. Just the retention data and just the watch duration of the show. It's been great these last couple of shows, and I just want to thank you guys for that. I hope you guys are continuing to enjoy the content. Check out my videos down below in the description in the playlist below. And as always, drop a like on the podcast, subscribe to the channel. Do not hesitate to follow my show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you want to be able to listen to it without having to watch the video and having to have your phone on. But ladies and gentlemen, again, I love you guys so much. I thank you guys so much for being with me today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See you.